So we're here at the Future TV Advertising Forum. There's a lot of disruption happening in that sector thanks to the rise of programmatic and addressable. So programmatic has already started to make inroads to online video advertising in digital. There's this notion that it's now coming to TV. How do you think programmatic will change TV?
So before we address the potential change and upside and impact that it will have on the industry, I think a lot of people have to realize, are they set up to handle programmatic? A lot of people now are very well equipped and understand the implications of programmatic for display. I think the value has been proven in a programmatic approach for display. I think if you're a broadcaster today, some of the things you need to consider if you're going to go down the path of programmatic and effectively accessing new demand channels, you really need to understand whether your organization is set up or not, because there's a lot of pitfalls potentially that need to be addressed in any programmatic approach. The main one being, it's a TV program. You are a broadcaster. You have a TV license. You need to make sure that you follow certain rules, compliance that make TV TV. You can't run an improper ad into some types of programming, and therefore you need to make sure that you're properly set up from that perspective.
So do European markets differ with that privacy question when it comes to programmatic? We know that a market like Germany sets quite a high bar.
Yeah. So yes, they differ. I think what you have is, it's not necessarily a differentiation between privacy or the question around data, because not all broadcasters today have a data approach like someone like a Channel 4 has. And you're right that some countries are more touchy on privacy law. I think from a programmatic perspective, you're looking at two things. You're looking at automation and data. The first part is, how do I make sure that all my processes internally create the best yield for my company? And that means takes into consideration the user experience, my agency relationship, but also my CPM, quite frankly. And so data is a core component of increasing that value, because if you don't have that data, then there's not a whole lot of sense to go programmatic if you're a broadcaster, because if you're doing your job well, it's pretty scarce inventory, so you should be selling everything. Yeah. So we have two different approaches today. You have people that want to go down the programmatic route for the remnant inventory, which is, it's fine, but that should represent a minimum amount of your inventory. And then the other side of it is people who say, I'm completely sold, but I want to increase the value of my CPM through data, and making sure that data I have is transacted with in a protected way with the agency. Because the last thing I want is, somebody arbitraging my data and using it down the line.
Yeah. So you just announced a deal with Sky Deutschland in Germany. Could you tell us about that?
Yeah, so we've had quite a long-standing relationship with Sky in the UK, and I think as Sky is becoming Sky Europe now, for them to not necessarily replicate, but work with a selected few strategic partners is pretty important in replicating some of the things they've been pretty successful at in the UK. So, we're starting with Germany, and of course Sky has many interests in other countries, but we are as of, we announced today that we...
What is it that you're doing?
So with Sky, we do a few things actually. We are mainly the ad decisioning platform for Sky Media. So we'll do the same thing in Germany and in the UK. So we enable Sky Media to manage its digital inventory across a slew of platforms, from desktop all the way to set-top boxes, and enable dynamic ad insertion on all these devices. And so in Germany, as Germany is growing its Sky Go platforms and its other form of nonlinear inventory, we're replicating some of the business proposition that we've put together for Sky. The other thing we're working with Sky is helping them navigate the new ecosystem of partners, right? Sky broadcast, Sky Media channels, or Sky channels, and channels that they sell through Sky Media. But they also air, other channels like Channel 4 and like ITV. Yeah. And one of the big questions that, Sky, but also other operators around Europe are asking of us is to say, can you help us like you've done in the US with a lot of the operators in trying to facilitate or enable us to become more involved in the operator broadcaster landscape and facilitate those exchanges of impressions.
So Sky is kind of blazing a trail with launches of the last year or two, like AdSmart and Advance, and really going hard across platform. Is there anything different? Are there any unique challenges about taking that to Germany?
Yes and no. I mean, Sky Germany is a bit of a different, entity than Sky UK. Obviously, it's more recent. It's not the same scale as the UK, but fundamentally, they're really trying to replicate a model that's worked well here across to Germany. So, I think the main challenge for us is how do we help Sky Germany navigate its ecosystem of partners and as well of its new channels, very much like we've done in the UK.
And FreeWheel has also partnered up with another UK broadcaster, Channel 4, on its programmatic announcement. Remind us about that, and if you're able to update us on how it's going.
Yeah, so we've actually been working with Channel 4 for the better part of this year on their programmatic offering, which has some very specific nuances to what everybody else would call programmatic, and is very similar to what we do with our US clients. And it sits under the banner of what we call Forefronts, which was really created to protect the TV ecosystem in a way where really prevents the buy side to arbitrage the sell side. And so we've created an environment that is very secluded from a data perspective that allows Channel 4 and its massive amount of data to really use that to optimize its yield, but in a way that protects its data. So when Channel 4 references its double-blind data escrow, that's really what we've put together for and with them, in that it allows the Channel 4 and its trading partners through DSPs, whether it's Adapt TV, Videology, or TubeMogul, to easily transact with them in a way that is completely secure and compliant with TV rules.
So, to remind viewers, this is making Channel 4's catch-up TV VOD platform 4OD, currently called 4OD, soon to be called All 4, programmatically enabling that.
Yes.
And soon to have access to TV or
so not immediately. The first step is, once we've done VOD, now it's to move on to live streaming of the channels. So as part of the All 4 offering, Channel 4 also has recently launched a dynamic ad insertion product to enable the replacement of linear ads into live stream. So whilst we're also participating in the ad decisioning for each ad, the goal is to offer a programmatic platform that suits all screens, device, and platforms. So, and really, the reason why that's paramount to understand that, it's a bit of a different approach to programmatic is when the user connects to All 4 and screens or streams a program, or when they're connected to a catch-up or a VOD program, it's still TV for them. They're still watching TV. So, some of the things that are accepted or acceptable in display or, more short-form digital platform are unacceptable in TV. You can't have, two ads one after the other. You can't have, ads that haven't cleared sort of broadcast compliance. If you are, a 12 rated program, you can't show a fast food ad, right? So all these rules and compliance are understood as part of the ad server proposition that we provide, but need to be transacted upon and given back to the agencies and their trading partners or their tech partners to make sure that the right ad comes back.